press this button. I'll say, yo, what up? How are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm well. I'm very, very well. We're doing a deck doctor here on Eraserhead. You said pre-recording. You said it's maybe a provisional potential.
Yeah, this is kind of a pet deck of mine because I think Void is a better symbol overall, but I think Death has a lot of tools to work with and can catch a lot of people off guard.
Right.
Um, so I want to at least have it on the table and kind of figure out what I can do to make it a little bit better. This is like incarnation like 24. So
Okay. Okay. All right. So you've done genuinely a lot more research than I have. So hit me with the elevator pitch of your Super Neato Eraserhead deck.
So I have been playing a lot with a friend of mine who plays All Might 2, and one of the things that he has kind of thrown into his deck is this idea of everything is a bad choice to make. And so I kind of followed a similar idea with that, where I basically wanted my attack lineup is built around a bunch of 4 diffs that can draw me cards, and a couple of 5 diffs to start off my combos and give myself a little bit of an edge going into those. So either Corrosion Lunge to start off, or Long Lasting to start the chain off, and then decide whether I want to go into Touch of Decay to put on extra pressure mid, or go for Binding Kick for extra pressure high, and then Binding Cloth Capture is just really, really good in Eraser.
Right. Yeah. 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 I completely and totally agree. Um, have you looked at the Super Neato Bakugo card that I don't know. I don't know what it is today. I cannot remember names of cards to save
Card
my
names are
life.
hard.
Yeah. Why can I not? Oh, it's because I'm doing this. Okay. Uh, we're here. We're here. I just couldn't figure it out. The low attack Bakugo card that says if you discarded a card from your card pool, do the thing. It's +1/+3.
Blackfish Turbo?
Yeah. That's the name of the card. That card triggers when you play Erase. It says after you play this, discard this card from your card pool, and Blast Rush Turbo only cares if a card has been discarded from your card pool. It's a very sneaky way to steal just a bunch of damage, right? Becomes a 5 low for 8, and then you discard a card, pick up that same Erase, becomes a 7 low for 8 on a 5/3. Really good way to spend momentum to kill somebody late in the chain. I don't think inside of your deck in particular it needs to be a 4 of, but I think this would be a really, really nice niche kill condition for the deck. I think that one of Eraserhead's biggest issues is that it's tough to kill people. But
Yeah, I agree.
with things like Long Lasting, with things like Corrosion Lunge, I think we can easily get there to the point where would you be okay going up to a 20th attack if it was a Blast Rush? Just as a
Yeah.
neat little one of.
Yeah, I think having it as a one of, I'm short answer, yes. I'm not married to a 60 card on the nose deck. I'm okay with going a little higher. Um, and I'm not married to the naval laser beams. I think they're really nice to have, but I also think that I have a fair amount of breaker in the deck, but
Right.
sometimes a breaker 2 just does really screw with somebody's turn.
Here's what we'll do, right? Are you going to Omaha?
I'm not going to be able to go to Omaha,
Okay. So
but I have some other ones.
here's what we'll do. We'll put this at a 1 of, we'll put this in a 1 of, and we'll test them both, right? So
Okay.
we'll at a 1 keep this guy at the 2 of in the sideboard. What's the difference between having 4 naval laser beams and having 3 naval laser beams? Like really? The answer is you'll probably
Yeah.
draw 2 at a time and be like, well, what am I gonna do with the second one? And I probably only get to block 1 of these in a turn. Yeah, I'll get to use it next turn, but I'm now a 6-hander. I'm now a 5-hander because I have to have an Erase in my hand. Yuck. And so if you feel like you're on the back foot and you have to have all these really solid mid blocks, we'll play the second naval laser beam or play the other 2 by taking out the Blast Rush, by taking out one of the Binding Claws or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think accidentally, like the surprise factor of these is going to be like so much more. And there's also an added a bonus of like if you're only playing the 1 of naval laser beam, if you're playing against a good opponent and they see you check a naval laser beam, they don't know how many are in your deck until you cycle. And so I know plenty of like part of your mind games of it is how many does he have? Does he have one? I have to plan my turnaround. I'm going to get 2 mid-block breaker 2'd, and you just never have it. Right?
Yeah.
And so like they make different possibly bad decisions because they're, playing around your I don't want to say bad deck choices, but your sneaky deck choices.
Yeah.
Sneaky deck choices.
Yeah, and mind games were a big part of what I did during the last webcam provisional, because I was playing a bunch of characters in my sideboard, and I would just take my character and my entire sideboard, shuffle it all together, and then just pull out the 10 cards because I'm an evil villain.
Yes, I love that. That's hype. That's hype. Trey Chic Cape is fine. I think it's a fine card. I think it's instantly comes out for the Evil Gaze if you want to run it. I'm so mid on this card.
Yeah, it feels really good when I have it, but if I don't, I don't feel that bad about it.
Right.
I think I really only care to see it when I have super regens on board, because I like simulating being Nomu by just having more health via regen.
Right. Yeah. That are like an apathetic. Feels good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Or if you have to panic and I can flip reflips first day class, which is tight. I mean,
Yeah,
it means we feel really good about playing that. Yeah, neat. Only triple erase. Hit me with that.
So I was figuring out that I was clogging a little bit on actions. I still feel like it is rough sometimes not having the fourth. I actually had a game that I was testing with this the other night where I only saw the singular erase that I started with for the entire game, but I saw every other action besides that. And it made my life very difficult. It made a couple of decisions a lot harder because I couldn't reliably block and then have another one to pick back up. So it's a risk that I'm willing to take, but I don't know if it's the right call.
And you've tried double gaze quad erase, I'm assuming.
I have not tried 4-2. I've liked 3 Evil Gaze a lot, because catching someone with that early,
right.
When they attack you at first, and it's just like, cool, you're definitely not hitting me, and I'm blowing something up as a punish. It gives a lot of it gives you a lot of tempo in the early game.
Okay, then I'll ask you 4, 3, 1, and then put the other plus ultra where the Evil Gaze is.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. I think erase is insane in this character. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, and I think plus ultra is just okay in Eraser specifically, because you have erase and so much speed control.
It's that, and you don't have anything on here sans corrosion lunge long lasting that's like as like your next move gets blank, right? And so like it's interesting to see this lineup. And the reason I wanted to include Blast Rush Turbo is that momentum out, and this does fulfill that requirement. Like this is a momentum out, this is a momentum out, this is a momentum out, and that's it. Which is why inside of decks like this, especially with like Touch of Decay, like if you have it, we even could come back to like, I know you're really enjoying Binding Kick. It draws a card. Touch of Decay. It draws a card. The Nitro Explosion Ignition.
That was a card I definitely considered for this deck because that was something I thought it was a cute play, but without ways to remove Fury attacks from my card pool, it seemed less good to me. But thinking more about the momentum outs and the points that you brought up already, it seems a lot more appealing.
Right. It also just says that, like, if you draw hot and you draw strings early, you just get to kill people, right? I'll play this long lasting. I'll play this Touch of Decay. I'll combo with it by committing this lame face down foundation. I'll just remove the Nitro. Oh, you full block this Touch of Decay? I'll pick it back up. I have a clean card pool. All right, I'll play another move. you
I
you've
didn't even think about that. Oh
you've
my
had to
god.
just like use 2 resources, or you had to deal with 2 attacks, and then neither of them counted towards progressive if you full blocked the touch. Otherwise, you didn't block the touch, and then I drew a card, and it only had 1 card in the card pool, right? Like I think that there's moves to be had in that spot, but that is certainly 8 slots, so you have 11 slots to look at, which means like maybe we're not playing Binding Cloth, maybe we're not playing Binding Kick, and I don't know if they're necessarily better than those other, if that combo is better than those other options. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It might be worth exploring a full Fury attack lineup.
Yeah. I can tell you that that's how my All Might 2 is getting so much legs, right? It's because I'm playing these big, huge, long strings. I'm drawing a bunch of cards, which we can do with Eraserhead because of his response, because of Binding Kick, because of Touch Decay. Like we can find a bunch of attack cards in our hand, and it feels bad to like miss lethal because I just can't pass any more checks on turn 3, turn 4. I just can't.
Yeah.
And so like clearing out that card pool, not to mention, it's just a 7 high for 4 in him that accidentally gives your Touch of Decay powerful 2 after we've touched him for a bunch. Be like,
Yeah.
there's your momentum out. This 6 mid for 4 at minimum with stun 1 is going to have an extra 6 damage on it because of my 3 momentum. Just feels great, right?
Oh, that sounds fantastic. I'm gonna definitely explore some Nitro with that because I actually think that that's really cool.
Yeah, I think you definitely should, and it like feels good playing into like an Ochako, right? Like her entire game plan is to just like also put that 2 extra speed on it. Like if you can play Nitro and then you play a move that also connects, and then you lift it with Ochako, you generate the momentum, you play it again, you remove the Nitro, you've got +2/+2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like
Holy shit.
between you and me, man. Hey, nobody else listening. I think that card's gonna be like $200 next set. I think that card is gonna go straight to the moon. I think that card's
Yeah.
correct. Very, very good card.
Yeah.
Um,
It's really good, and I like playing characters that are in those symbols. So
yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put Nitro on your sideboard, not because you should be playing it in this deck, but because I think that you should experiment a bit with it. Does that card have air as well? Of course it has air. It's a Bakugo card.
Yep.
What does an air deck look like with that card? Interesting.
I have a friend who has he copied the deck doctor of the OTK Bakugo in air from months and months ago. Made me very salty once.
Are we playing that card in the OTK Bakugo deck? If we're not, we should be. Anywho, I just don't know. Okay. Foundation wise, we'll get back on track. Mediator, Night Watch, disposition feels great. Apathetic at a triple. 4 shock absorption, man. You have so much speed hate.
I do.
Never getting touched, huh?
One of the big problems with Eraser is being 19 health, and super regeneration helps mitigate that, but the block that I can pretty much always count on having is a mid. And so sometimes I want to make blocking so much easier on myself, and purposely half block so I can trigger super regens and finish a turn at higher health than I started.
Right. So I'm adding in just a bunch of cards into our sideboard that we get to chit-chat about.
All right.
Some obvious ones that I think we like pseudo missed, and some that are not so obvious. Okay, I'm good. All right, so am I still streaming my screen?
I've just been following along on the stream.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, dude.
Definitely do that. Okay, so first and foremost, agitation. I think this card is a really neat technique. I think it's one of those niche cards that if you can find room for it, it's very good. It turns your Touch of Decay into I will always draw 1 card. It says your corrosion lunges punishes them even harder. Like it feels even worse if they block this 5 low for 5 and you draw a card and your next one gets 2/2. And is really very playable because you get to extend your Eraserhead 7 hand size. It just like every move's now like a pseudo cantrip. The
Yeah.
bad news is it doesn't work on 7 of our moves, 8 of our moves. Oh, this is
Yeah.
from the sideboard, not the main board. What are you doing? It doesn't work on 7 of our moves, which is a little frustrating, but
Yeah.
maybe at like a 1 of it's fine. Same thing with capabilities. I think so the first Eraserhead deck that I made was a 5 difficulty, swing on you, make it big, make it fast Eraserhead deck. Very, very similar to what you got going on here. I didn't play Binding Kick. I didn't play Binding Cloud Capture. I didn't play Touch of Decay. I just played big Oonga Boonga moves. And I felt even then I had an issue with killing people. And capabilities just sitting on my board as a commit, discard, win the game feels really good, right?
Yeah.
Inside of our character, it is plus 4 plus 5, right? And just
Yeah.
like putting +4/+5 on a corrosion lunge, even as like the only move. Hey man, this is a 7 low for 10 catch. Oh, this is half of your health. Deal with it. You gotta deal with it. And that feels very, very good.
Yeah.
Latent skill for consistency. I think that you are fine. I don't think that Mediator is one of these need cards, you know? Like I feel like it's not absolutely necessary, but sometimes like even as a 7-hander, we need to get the ball rolling, and if you draw all foundations on a turn that you need to kill them, then latent skill might be the thing that gets you there.
Yeah.
Let's Fight Bad Guys
absolutely.
is in the same boat as capabilities or agitation, depending on how our mid blocks work. Right, like we could like cut 2 shock absorption and then play 2 Let's Fight Bad Guys and say that you'll actually never block my long lasting explosions without a plus ultra. It's just not happening, right? I need 6 damage to win the game. Here it is. And then the one card I think you're missing entirely is Brute Strength. I think this card is so clutch with your character. I think this card is so important. That +1 damage across the rest of your turn as you are committing your cards, because, I mean, to be honest, a lot of your moves are thick, right? Like, on a 5, we check a 3, and you want to go in, just, like, blow this up and make this an extra damage. Make this an extra 2 damage, right? Now it's a 5 low for 7, and that sounds way scarier than 5 low for 5, right? Even that +2 damage is going to do something to them mentally. We're like, oh, that's rough. Or I'm at 5 health, right? I got to kill you, or you're going to kill me. You're going to find 5 damage. Well, that means I got +4 damage across my moves, right? Lose a health for +1. You can't hurt me on my turn, right? You're playing set 1 cards. You're not playing set 2 cards. So this is just accidentally just +4 damage sitting in your stage on one of them, +8 damage on one of them if we destroy a committed foundation for each attack. I think this card inside of the Death Eraserhead deck is probably not a need, probably not, but it might end up being like a want, right? Like I could see it like in between a want or nice spot, but your foundation lineup is really, really tight with difficulties, right? Look at all these. Look at these spams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 spams. Like, I don't think you need tight-lipped at a 4 of.
No, not necessarily.
You've already got a 1 mid block that you just go pick up.
Yeah.
Like, it's good spam, right? It could be Let's Fight Bad Guys instead to have more just usefulness on your board. Because the idea, like, and you want to talk about tactics. The idea of brute strength and tight-lipped, talk about double dipping. This says that every foundation is worth 2 damage. You become Bakugo as Eraserhead.
That's really scary. And one of the things that, like, I think I didn't really think about as much until we had this talk is, like, I am in control of so much of the incoming damage that's pointed my way. I can afford to play a little fast and loose with my life total and get that extra damage through on my opponent. Like, I'm the only 7 hand-sized death character. I need to kind of abuse it.
And sometimes you say your opponent's character doesn't work. It's like, man, that one's going to hit real hard. Too bad your character don't work. I think that there's a lot going on, and this is to be said, like, we're instead of like corrosion lunge in this deck, we're not even playing something like Touch of Decay, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is a stun 2 6 high for 5 that burns them for 2, destroys a foundation, maybe burns them for 4, right?
I mean, what if we just ditch the binding kicks and the captures and just go for a full fury lineup and like jam nitros, jam blast rush turbos, and just absolutely nuke people from the moon?
Let's look at our box ones. Death attack blocks. Death attack blocks. Blocks on low, attack, go. Binding kick, point blank,
Lows are rough.
signature, merciless rush. Yeah, no wonder my deck was all fucking 5 diffs.
Yeah.
Huh. We could cut Corrosion Lunge down to a 2 of and find the room, right? Because we've got 4 highs here, 1 high here, 3 highs here, right? I think 6 highs, 6 lows, the rest mid is probably where we want to be at. And we could get away with more highs and lows, and maybe even like get rid of some of these mids. Like maybe long lasting shouldn't be a 3 of, it should be a 2 of, or maybe like a 1 of. Like is this card better than Touch of Decay? All right, that's the question. Like it combos. Sorry, it's a good tactic with not Touch of Decay. I'm so sorry. What am I trying to say?
Turn to Dust.
Turn to Dust. Yeah. It is a really good tactic. Long lasting into Touch of Decay is really really good. But like, is it better than Turn to Dust? Is it better than whatever? The question is, so here's my big question: how often are you resolving Binding Cloth Capture as a 3 diff? Because this card can steal games all by its lonesome, and it's like it does the same thing, the same job as the Nitro Explosion, except on the back end as opposed to the front end, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things that like I'm finding it more and more awkward to play, and like I feel like the only reason that I want to play it at 3 is because I have 3 XRs, and I think I need to just like give that up.
Ooh, man.
Yes, they're as pretty as you think.
That is a tough reason to give it up. Just kidding. Don't.
No.
Man, that 1 high block is so good though. How often do you get the combo off?
Relatively often.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to go out of your way to do it and just erase them when you don't need to.
Right.
So it's like discard a card in order to rob them of a card.
Right.
But like I remember in the last provisionals that I was in, I jammed 3 of them against a Tokoyami and was just like, you're dead.
Yeah. And that is the power that this card has. I mean, that's 15 free damage if they can't do anything about it. And we have enough combos in our deck with Touch and Binding, and we're 100% going to lose that if we decide to take out Binding Kick for something else, right? Like Binding Kick, Touch into Capture, like feels good. Feels very, very good.
Yeah.
And the Enhanced Seal Rival Foundation like is really good spot removal, right?
Yeah.
Man, this is
a tough one.
This is tough. Here's what I think. I don't want to change the attack lineup too terribly much because I think the death has enough going on. Like man, I mean, if we wanted to be an absolute degenerate, we could play something along the lines of like a Gale Force Punch Eraserhead, and I think it would be just as good, and we get to like be even more loosey goosey with the stuff. Like Gale Force Punch into Binding Cloth Capture means that they just like don't have any cards, they don't have any hands, and then you kill them. And so I think that we should play this. I want you to try Blast Rush Turbo, and let's put a little more oomph into our foundations, and then we'll see it from there. If you're still not killing people, maybe we change the attack lineup. But I think that like Brute Strength in at the 2 of is the right call. It's your call on capabilities that we can try it. I think Latent Skill is an important card, and then Let's Fight Bad Guys is an important card.
I think Someone with Style is one that I'm not super married to because I have a ton of high blocks in my foundation lineup, and sometimes it feels good, sometimes it feels kind of
you do. Oh yeah, you do.
I have
let's toss it into one of. Let's toss it into one of, and we just replace it with the latent skills. I want to take Tight Lipped, and we're gonna break it down to a 2 of, and Let's Fight set the 2 of, and we have Brute Strength. What's another high block? No Shot. We get rid of 1 Mediator, 1 Apathetic, 1 Super Regeneration for the second Brute Strength. Or you just want to go to 61 cards?
I'm down with 61.
61?
I think 61 will probably be better.
Okay, 61, 25, 15, 21. Don't fight Cyclic's Momo deck is what we're saying.
Yeah, I don't want to see that on the other side of the table from me.
Yeah. I'm
going to half block everything all day.
Right. I mean, hopefully, big breakers. This card's a low block, right? Probably why we're signing it.
yeah, that's part of it, and also killing off momentum from
Air
decks
decks.
that need it. Yep.
Yeah. I think that this is a good stepping stone.
Mm.
I think this is a good stepping stone. I think you're going to see a lot of value out of these cards. Maybe not the less 5 bad guys. It's actually the card that I'm least interested in. But it feels really
Yeah.
good to like give a touch of decay that you really need to not be blocked so you can draw the card. The bonus, right? Long lasting
Yeah.
becomes like fucking 9 mid for 6. What do they do? What do they do?
Yeah.
They take 6. All for a flip 1 cost. I think this is a good spot to be in. It's a good spot to be in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is there anything in here that you hate?
No, not at all.
Yeah, let me think
You know
more
what?
about.
Let's kill the Trey Sheet Cape.
Let's kill it.
Let's kill it.
I'm in. We hate this card. Set 2. This card's rad. It unflips Excited for Blood.
Truth.
Right now, there's no Excited for Blood. We don't care about that card.
Get it out of here.
I think we got a deck.
I think we do.
Yeah, brainstorm
This is
on the Nitro deck. I'll brainstorm a little bit on mine as well. See what I can put my thoughts to. I think the reason I don't want to do it here is I think that this might have to change quite a bit because I think it's like a triple capabilities deck. we gotta find a room, and we'll be here for an hour.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah. So with that, man, thank you much for hanging out. Thank you for the support on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate it too.
All right, we'll catch you next time. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Take care.
Peace.